Hi, welcome back. Certainly glad you could join us today. Thought today we'd just do a painting. It's a lot of fun. So I tell you what, let's start out and have brought all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with us. And they'll come across right there. And while they're doing that, come on up here, let me show you what I've got done. I've got my standard old 18 by 24 inch canvas, or you use whatever size you'd like. And I've covered the entire canvas with just a very thin, even coat of the liquid white. The liquid white, as you know, makes the canvas wet and slick, and it allows us to actually blend color right here, rather than working ourselves to death on the palette. So let's start today with our little tiny 2-inch brush, and we'll go into, let's use a beautiful color today. Let's use a little bit of phthalo blue. I like phthalo blue. That's a gorgeous color. Just a little bit on the brush like so. And let's go up in here and start right at the top. It would just make some little crisscross strokes, little X's, just like so. Very gentle. There. And you can make this as dark as you want it, or as light. It's up to you. There. And just sort of dance it around it. I'm going to leave some little holes open here and there and there and here. All right, maybe we'll have a little water in this one too. Shoot, while I got that old blue going here. Let's just come right across here, put the indication of a little bit of water down in here. Because anything that we don't want to be water, we'll just paint right over it. We don't care. As you know, we don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. So we learn very quickly to live and to enjoy anything that happens here. There. Okay, now then, I'm going to grab another brush. I have several of them going. And with that one, I'm going into a little bit of alizarin crimson. Just a very small amount. Don't need a lot. Just a little. Okay, let's go back up here. And in this area, I'm just going to take a little crimson and blend it, like so. Now when you're putting this crimson on, use a very little color. It's very easy to go back and add a little more. But we don't want to set this sky on fire. All we want to do is just put a little pinkish glow in here. Something about like that. Just want it to blend right up into the blue and just disappear. Thought maybe today we'd just do something that's a lot of fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. All right. Okay, now we get to wash the old brush. If you've painted with me before, you know this is the most fun part of the whole procedure. Just shake off the excess and beat the devil out of it. That is a lot of fun. Now then, we'll just take that same old brush, go right into a little bit of the titanium white, just tap it. Very simple little way of making some little clouds here. We'll go right up here, and we'll just tap in some very basic little shapes. I'm not looking for a lot of real distinct clouds. I just want little floaters that live up here in the sky and just have a good time. There, something about like that. Maybe up in here. Just going to dance in a little of the white because I don't want these to be very distinct. These are quiet little clouds today. Sometimes we do clouds that really stand out, but today, just some little floaters. There, now very gently, one hair and some air. Just graze the canvas just enough to blend that together a little bit. And that'll give us an indication, some little clouds that just float around up here in the sky and have a good time. Tell you what, the other day I visited a very good friend who was in the hospital, and he told me he liked mountains. I promised him I'd do a mountain for him. So, Frank, this one's for you. All right, let's take some Prussian blue, some black, some alizarin crimson. I'm gonna put more crimson in there, so it goes sort of to the lavender side. We'll cut off a little roll of paint. It should live right on the edge of the knife there. Let's go up in here. All right, maybe back in here in our world, we'll just put in a very basic little shape. There, we'll have a little ridge of mountains, something like so. There, and I don't want to have a lot of big sharp peaks in this, just a little ridge. There. I spent a little time up in British Columbia a while back, and they have some of the most gorgeous mountains like this. I just absolutely adore them. They're so big, just huge mountains. Okay, now the only thing we're worried about is this nice edge up here on top. The rest of it, we don't even care at this point. Later on we will. But right now, we really don't care. This brush has got a little paint on it, but it's all right because I'm just going to grab it and pull it down. There, you don't have to clean the brush to do this because all we're doing is removing excess paint and blending it downward. Something about like so. See how that paint moves? Now if the canvas was dry, we'd be in Agony City right about now. That paint just slides right on the liquid white though. Makes it work so easy. Allow the canvas to work, shoot. I'm lazy, I look for easy ways to do things. All right, pull the paint out as flat as we can get it. I'm gonna reach up here and get a little touch of black. I wanna gray it. Be right back, get a little more. There, a little bit of black. Just mix it, but I'm not over mixing it. Maybe I'll even put a little touch of bright red in there. Ooh, that's nice. That's nice, I like that. Flat as you can get it. Then cut across and get a little roll of paint. Once again, see, pull it out flat. Just a small roll of paint lives right on the edge of your knife. Okay, let's go up in here. Now, we're going to check out and see how delicate you are. No pressure. Just touch it and allow it to glide right down the canvas. No pressure. No pressure. See there? Very gentle. Very, very gentle. Easy. It doesn't take a lot of paint. But it does take a very delicate little touch. There, just gently, gently caress the canvas. There we are. See there? Okay, maybe even over in here, light will strike right. Now you have to decide where you think light would strike on your mountain. Let's take a little, use a little Prussian blue. It's darker than the phthalo blue. Maybe you can put a little black in it. A little black, even touch a little Van Dyke brown in there. Oh, that's good. That's a good color. And that will be our shadow color. Once again, leave it sort of marbled. Cut off that little roll of paint, just like we did before. And then we can go back in here and begin picking out little areas that we think are in shadow. And just touch it. Give it a little pull. Very gentle. Very, very gentle. See? No pressure. Absolutely no pressure. Just begin adding in all those little shadow areas. Here's one. Just wherever you think they should be. And we're just going to place shadows and highlights back and forth here. Back and forth and back. There. Something about like so. All right, see, we'll touch a little highlight color. And that easy. You can make all kinds of little things happen. And maybe down in here, yep. Look at there. Maybe it gets a little bigger down here. We don't know. In your world, you create any illusion that you want. Any illusion that you want. Because you can do that here. There we are. Painting is nothing but games of illusion. All right. There comes one. You knew it was there, didn't you? All right. Okay. Now see that little bit of pink here is it's going to show through when we're done, and it'll look like a little bit of pink-like mist that's sort of floating around the base of this old mountain. Maybe I'll have a big tree over here, so I won't worry too much about that. You know me. I like them old big trees. And chances are, for this is over, we'll do one. There we go. This is an excellent way to practice using the knife. Make mountains. When I was learning to paint with an old knife, I used to take a big old canvas, like 30 by 40 inches. And I'd start at the top of it and start painting mountains. And I'd paint from top to bottom, nothing but mountains. When I got finished, I'd stand back and look at it and decide what was good and what was bad. Then I'd take a big putty knife and scrape it off and go right back and do it again. Because practice, that's what makes perfect. You know the old saying, practice makes perfect. There we are. So I want that to just disappear right down here into the bottom. Just gently float away. Now then, we got that old brush, it's dirty. We'll take a little of that color we was using for shadow color. What the heck, we don't care. It's mostly blue and white, a little black in it. Tap. Maybe back here in our world maybe there's a little foothill that lives way back up here against the mountain. There he comes. Drops down maybe like that. It doesn't matter. But all you're doing is gently tapping. Gently tapping. Now, take and little tiny strokes, tiny little 1/4 inch high strokes, lift upward. And it'll make it look like little trees that live 1,000,000 miles away. Way back against the base of that old mountain. Let's have another layer. Shoot, that was fun. Take the same colors, only I'm going to make it a touch darker. As things get closer to you in the landscape, as you know, things get darker and darker. That's what helps create the illusion of distance and depth in your painting. Maybe this one comes right out like that. Climbs right up beside the mountain. Little trees that live right up in there. There they go. See them? Isn't that fantastic? There. Now once again, very gently, little short strokes, lift up. Even though this goes up the hill, still lift straight up. Or your trees will look like there's a wind going through there at about 180 miles an hour. Look like a hurricane hit. There, and we don't want that. We want the trees to stand up straight. There we are. Now, same color. Get a little more paint on the brush. While we have that going, let's have us just a happy little reflection. And it lives right down below that, like that. Pull straight down. It's important you pull straight down. Maybe back here is another one. Get a little more color on the brush. There, see? Then go gently across. Barely touch it. Barely touch it. And that easy. That easy. We have instant reflections. A little bit of the liquid white on the knife. Pull it out as flat as we can get it. I'm going to add at least a little touch of bright red to it. Just enough to warm it a little. Go across, get our little edge of paint right out there in the end. And let's put a little water line. Maybe there's one right there. Like so. There's one. If it's too distinct, too bright, just wipe your knife off. Go back over it. The more you rub it, the more it'll go away. Until it just disappears. See there? Now we got a little water line that lives right there at the base of all this. But make these lines basically straight. If they're not straight, it'll look like your water's going to run out of your painting. And that'll bother you. I know sometimes you've looked at paintings and you'd look at the painting and you'd say, something's wrong with that painting, but I don't know what it is. Your logical mind tells you what's wrong with it, even if you don't see it. And sometimes it can be as simple as a water line going up or downhill, and it'll bother you. Okay, let's go back into what do we got going here. Let's take some Van Dyke brown. I'll just use that mountain color out with some Prussian blue and black. All those good colors. I want a dark color, but I put some brown in it. Okay, maybe in our world, we got a nice mountain here. Maybe right there. You be the judge. You put it where you want it. Maybe there's a little bump that lives right there. There he is. We just drop him in. Shoot, I tell you what, let's get crazy. Maybe it comes up like this, goes over, goes up. Just let your imagination go. You know, that's one thing that's so fantastic about painting landscapes. There's so many possibilities. If you paint a portrait and you put somebody's eye in the wrong place, chances are they're going to notice it. But if you put a tree in the wrong place or he's got a crook in him, somebody will come along and say, I know that tree. Him and I went to different schools together. Because in nature, everything is just fantastic. And there's trees that are dead and alive and bent and crooked. There. I tell you what, let's just fill that all in while I got it going here. A little more color on the brush. We'll just paint it in. It doesn't matter. Just any old way, any old way. There. Take that same old brush. I'm going to go into a little bit of cad yellow. Look at a little touch of blue in there and some sap green. Oh, that's nice. I want more yellow ochre though. Maybe we'll go more into fall colors on this one. Yellow ochre, a little sap green. Let's go right up in here. And back here, far away, we'll put a little grassy area right out here in the hill. Put a little bright red with that too. If we're going to have a little fall color, we want it to shine. Yeah, that's better. That's better. We need a tree. We need some trees. I like to paint big old evergreens. Let's see, Prussian blue, black, some brown, a bunch of crimson, and some sap green. That sounds good. As long as it's dark, it doesn't matter. Okay, let me wipe off the old knife here. Let's grab a fan brush. Okay, we'll load it full of that dark color. A lot of color in the bristles, both sides. Just fill it up. All right, let's go. Here's your bravery test right across that mountain. Right there. And sometimes we make evergreens that we push down, and sometimes we push up. Today, let's push up. Makes those ones that have limbs that lift upward into the sky, and they watch all the birds. And here, you could watch that gorgeous mountain in the background. There, I'd like to live right here and be able to see that out my window every day. There we go. Maybe here there's a few little indications of some more little trees that live back in here. And I'm just tapping downward there. Right here. There, push up right there. And we'll make maybe there's a little bigger one here. Once again, just sort of let your imagination go. You put them where you want them. Wherever you want them. Give them a little friend. I think everybody should have a friend. Even a tree. A few more little bushy things, something like that. All right. I'm going to grab another fan brush. I have several of them going. A little bit of the yellows, grab a little sap green. But mostly into the yellow ochre, Indian yellow, and grab a little of that red. But mix color on the brush. There's a lot of things happening on that brush. And a nice way to make some little grassy areas, just take the fan brush, give it a little upward push. Use the corner, or you'll get smiley faces, or smiley frowns. I guess a smiley frown is a smiley face upside down, huh? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? There. See, just begin putting in some nice little areas here. Something about like that. There. All right. Now then, shoot, tell you what, I want to go back to making trees. I like to make those trees. They're a lot of fun. Go back into our dark color. This is your bravery test. Right there. Big tree. Big tree. There. Here he comes. They live right here in those brushes. All you got to do is just sort of scare them out. Sometimes I like to let a little bit of the stalk show, a little bit of the trunk. There. He's got a little bald spot right there, and I can relate to that. There we go. I'm getting one of those myself. There he comes. Big old tree. There. And we'll separate all these limbs with highlights in a minute. Right now, we're just putting on the base color, or we're painting the back of the tree. We'll come along and paint the front of the tree here in just a second. Okay, a little bit more color. Okay, he needs a friend too, I guess. So we'll give him one. There. See how that'll just help push that mountain way back into the distance. All right. Isn't that fantastic? So there we are. And there's another big old tree. And maybe, you know, when I lived in Alaska, you'd see times when there was a little bit of snow still showing. And snow, it began to snow maybe, and the grass was still there, and little patches of snow. So we'll take that same mountain color. Or maybe in your world you want this just to be little pieces of land that are showing. It's up to you. You decide. But just like you put the highlights on the mountain, just barely touch the canvas and let the paint break. And by break, I mean all these little holes that it has in it. There we are. See all them little holes? And we'll come back and we'll put some grass all the way around those. And let's see, a little bit of the liquid white. We'll take a little yellow ochre, a little touch of that bright red. Ooh, that's a nice color. Be right back. Grab a little crimson and put in there too. All the yellows, crimson, little red. Let's go back. Now that we can come back in here. Boy, that's pretty. That is a pretty color. That's what happens when you mix color on the brush rather than trying to mix little piles of color. You have happy accidents. And those happy accidents turn out to be some of the most fantastic things that can happen. There, just pushing upward. But sort of work in layers. Don't just hit it random. Sort of look at it and decide where all these little rascals live. There, you can use one side of the fan brush to use up all the color, then turn it over, use the other side. There we are. See, just sort of slip them in between these little areas. There we are. All right. Fantastic. There. Every once in a while, if you want to make it go on a little bit easier, add at least a little touch of paint thinner or liquid white. The liquid white will change your color a little bit. It makes it a little lighter. The paint thinner will keep the color pure. But don't put too much. It takes very, very little of it. Very little. Get a little dark sand on my brush. I want to get into a little bit of the browns up here. There. A little bit more. Ooh, I like that. Like that. That's good. Good colors. That reminds me of, as I say, when I used to live in Alaska, there was some of the most gorgeous scenery there. There we are. Okay. Tell you what, let me wipe off the old brush here. And let's come back and, well, guess we need to put a stalk in there, or a little tree trunk. We'll take a little bit of the white, a little dark sienna, maybe even a little Van Dyke in there with it. Ooh, that's nice. There, leave it marble, cut off our little roll of paint. Let's go up in here, put us in a little tree trunk. We don't want that little tree to fall over because it don't have no bones in it. There. It's got to have a little skeleton. There we go. Now our big tree. Oh, big tree. This is Papa Tree here. There. Looks like Mama and Papa Tree and all of her children. Could be. Who knows? Who knows? Put a little bit of the liquid white. I'm going to get some sap green. Maybe I'll get a little black too. That'll darken it. A little bit more. I like it. I want a dark green color here though. There. Load the brush full of color. Let's go right up in here. Now let's come right along here. And let's just put the indication of some leaves, some highlights on these little rascals. There we are. A few right in here. There they come. Now, our old big trees. Which one's in the front, which one's in the back? Big decision you got to make. I think this one's behind, so we'll do it first. But in your world, maybe you want this one to be the tree in the foreground. It's up to you. Okay, a little paint thinner. I'll add a little yellow ochre to that too, just to change the flavor. There we go. Something about like that. And figure out where all the little limbs are in here and there. Shoot. But isn't that a nice way to make some big old trees? There we go. Scratch in a few sticks and twigs. And we're to the point of having a finished painting. Hope you've enjoyed this one. It's a lot of fun. I'd love to see a photo if you do it, so send me one. From all of us here, happy painting, and God bless, my friend.